What if I told you that Africa is no longer waiting for permission to protect itself? That in the heart of the Sahel, three proud nations, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, are not just standing up, but rising together, forging a single army born not from aid, but from pain. This is not military coordination for show. This is a defiant stand. This is revolution in uniform. In a region long soaked in the blood of betrayal, something is shifting. The rules are being rewritten, not by think tanks, but by warriors. Not with grants, but with grit. For decades, the Sahel was the ground zero of foreign-led help. Expensive missions landed with big promises, yet somehow the bombs kept falling and the people kept dying. But now that era is closing, and a new chapter is being written with African ink. It didn't begin with a grand parade or a global summit. It began quietly in Bamako. Inside a modest military school named after a fallen African diplomat, three defense ministers met. No cameras, no translators, no foreign advisors, just three nations, scarred but unbroken, ready to craft something that had never been attempted before, an army without foreign oversight. An army bound by shared pain and united purpose. This wasn't diplomacy. This was family business. For years, Mali had hosted missions it didn't control. Burkina Faso watched villages vanish while blue helmets drove past. Niger became a drone nest while its people buried their dead with no answers. And still, the promises came. We are here to help. But help, it turns out, had conditions. Help came late, help came silent, and help came with paperwork. So these three nations stopped asking. Instead, they started building. Let's pause briefly to thank our Voice of Africa family. Your commitment, your time, your comments, your shares fuels this channel. It means more than you know. You are not just viewers. You are co-architects of this awakening. If you haven't subscribed yet, this is your moment to stand with us. To join something bigger than content. This is a movement. Now let's return to the battlefield of ideas. The military alliance of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, called the AES, is not just strategic. It is spiritual. It is a response to every moment Africa was told to wait, to every deal made in her name, without her voice. This army is not about uniformity. It's about unity. It is not the largest in numbers, but it is already unmatched in one thing: clarity of purpose. They're not copying foreign tactics anymore. They are creating their own. Gone are the patchwork doctrines left behind by colonial powers. No more mismatched rules, no more contradictory training. Now a new combat manual is being written. Joint patrols, shared surveillance, rotating high command. This is interoperability built on trust, not treaty. This alliance is not ceremonial, it's surgical. What makes this force even more radical is its operating principle. No external permission required. If Mali is attacked, Niger and Burkina Faso will not wait for clearance. No UN paperwork, no military diplomacy, just immediate sovereign response. Because for the first time, African borders are not lines of division, they are veins of solidarity. The symbolism runs deep. The same land where foreign bases once operated as shadows of empire is now the foundation of African self-defense. The same roads once blocked by protocol are now military corridors, protected and maintained for one mission: freedom of movement, freedom to respond, freedom to act. But what's most striking isn't just the machinery being built, it's the mindset. The AES Army isn't about hardware, it's about headspace, a complete rejection of the idea that Africa must be protected from itself, that to be secure, Africans must submit to foreign guardianship, that the solution to African wars is always external. This is the old lie, dead and buried. For years, African soldiers died on their own soil, while others negotiated their safety from steel towers in distant cities. But now, the soldier is no longer a pawn. He is the architect. She is the protector, they are the planners, and for the first time, the people are part of the defense, not just passive observers. In Mali, local hunter guilds who've protected rural villages for generations are now part of military planning. In Burkina Faso, neighborhood watch brigades are being trained to integrate with AES patrols. In Niger, tribal elders, long ignored in top-down systems, are helping shape recruitment and intelligence flows. This army doesn't just patrol land, it understands it. It doesn't just fight enemies, it knows them. And that kind of warfare, the kind rooted in terrain, in culture, in community, is unstoppable. Let's be clear, this isn't romanticism. It's realism sharpened to a blade, Pan-Africanism with teeth. Not the dream of unity through slogans, but through sweat, sacrifice, and strategy. The AES alliance is not the final answer, but it is the first real answer Africa has given itself in generations. Now you may wonder, what happens next? Can this army survive without external aid, without NATO advisors, without IMF funding? The answer lies in the quiet determination of these nations to do more with less. They have no surplus, no billion-dollar bases. What they do have is terrain-tested courage, war-hardened resolve, and most of all, a deep understanding that sovereignty without security is just a dream deferred. So, they're innovating out of necessity. Drones are being assembled on local soil. Ammunition factories are being considered in Burkina Faso. A secure, satellite-independent communication system, engineered by regional minds, is already under development. No cables that lead back to foreign servers. No surveillance pipelines open to outside eyes. This is security with no backdoor. But even more powerful than the weapons are the principles. This force does not exist to defend fragile political regimes. It exists to defend people. And that's the shift. For decades, African armies were taught to protect state institutions, often at the expense of citizens. But the AES flips that logic. It begins with the land, the community, the mother who lost her son, the farmer who lost his field, the child who fled from crossfire. This is people-first defense. And yes, the world is watching. Not out of curiosity, but out of concern. Because if this works, it sends a message that can't be muted, that Africans can secure themselves, that our wars are not too complex for us to manage, that sovereignty can be lived, not just declared. And if that message spreads, if Guinea joins, if Chad signals support, if more nations decide to break the pattern, then what? Then the illusion shatters. The illusion that African power must always come with a leash. That every African step forward must be supervised, signed off, and sealed by foreign approval. The AES tears that narrative apart. It tells every African child, you can grow up in a land that protects itself, that your freedom isn't borrowed, that your nation can raise a shield that belongs to no one else. Before you leave, remember this. Every army fights on two fronts. The visible battlefield and the battle for belief. And right now, the Sahel is winning both. If you believe in this story, if your heart beats faster at the thought of an Africa rising together, then support us. Share this video, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Voice of Africa. Let's keep telling stories that shake the foundations, because this army is not just marching, it is awakening a continent.